Jen here, and I'm excited to be doing a guest post for Wilna Furstenberg using her awesome May printables. And this was part of her year-long class, but she made just the May part of it available for purchase, and it's just beautiful. I love Wilna's products. You've seen me use them before if you follow me on YouTube. And so I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be using. So I have this large photo of my daughter. She is in the woods, standing on a little tree stump, and I just love this photo of her. It's just really cute. And I'm going to focus on the butterflies in this kit. And even though my daughter's holding these kind of the red flowers, I think I can make this work anyway, just because it's outdoorsy, and I think that it will work just fine. So, like I said, I'm going to focus on the butterflies. Now, I print and cut them, and Wilna has a tutorial how to do that, and I will be sure to link to it in the show notes, in the video notes below. But I printed these both on cardstock and on vellum, so you can see how they look a little bit different on vellum than they do. Let me just find two that match. So here it is on the cardstock, and here it is on the vellum, and they just look a little bit different. And my plan is to use these all together and to layer some of them up so that you get the added dimension of the vellum on top of the cardstock. And so I'm excited to play around with those. So like I said, I'm going to focus on all of these awesome butterflies. There are also beautiful floral pieces. You can see these large pieces here. This kit focuses on grace, and but I wanted to show you that these are versatile enough to use even if you don't want to focus on the scripture or the kind of the theme of the kit here. And so I am going to use, see these gorgeous florals. Those could be used for anything. And the florals come with words and without. Here's what they look like if you just print them out. You can also hand cut around them. You don't have to have a die cutting machine. So just want to point that out. I'm sure if you follow Wilna, you already know that. But so here's the same cut file printable with words, and then this one's without. So just wanted to show you that. I'm also going to be using this word amazing, and my plan is to have my title be Amazing Beauty, but I don't know what I'm going to use for the word beauty yet. Maybe I'll handwrite it. I'm not sure. So that is my plan. I think I mentioned already, I'm going to use this. This is a Heidi Swapp, what is this called? Not a stencil, but a screen print thing. So I'm just going to use some paints to go through this screen and put some florals on, I think along the top of the photo or something like that. Just want it to be kind of subtle and pretty, so I'm using a soft pink color from Ali Edwards. That's just some regular acrylic paint. So I also pulled some watercolor paint in kind of that bright purpley pink color that I might end up using as well for the word beauty. I'm not sure yet. So that is my plan. I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and talk you through my process here. So to get started, I'm going to just put down a thin coat of clear gesso, and I'm just using clear because I had it handy. I could have definitely used white, and I'm just coating basically the entire background of this white cardstock. And I'm just using a cheap little spatula there that I got in a package with a bunch of others, and I like that one with the big flat head. So now I'm going to go ahead and get arranging my butterflies on my photo. I really love photos like this that are large with a lot of empty space because it allows me to kind of play around with that space as far as embellishment goes. So after I laid that down, I'm kind of deciding where I want to put my roses, and so I'm just going to go ahead and get started right in on that. So I'm using that same scraping tool and just scraping some of that nice coral colored paint through the screen, and you can see as I lift it up the beautiful image that's left behind there. So I'm going to end up doing 3 of these roses, and really the reason I did 3 and spaced them out the way I did was just so that I didn't overlap the parts that were still drying with the screen, so I just spread them out just enough so that I could place another one down without touching the previous one. And those look really pretty. I love that art screen from Heidi Swapp. So now I'm thinking about what I want to do and how this is going to work with this photo. And I'm thinking about how cute the butterflies would look kind of scattered amongst these flowers. And as I do that, I come to a realization. I'm going to talk to you about it here. Okay, so as I got this going, I kind of decided I didn't want to use this photo, which I love this photo, but I'm going to save it for something else. So I'm going to go ahead and print off a different photo to use with this, something that's a little bit maybe lighter and brighter, or I don't know, just something different. The red is just throwing me off. So even though I love this photo and I think I could have made it work with this, now that I have these flowers down, I really want to take it in a bit of a different direction. So I'm going to print off a different photo and come back. So you can see that I have new photos printed off to the side there. And now what I'm going to do is take some of that watercolor and I'm just mixing it on some packaging here. And what I'm going to do is just brush it on. I'm going to start by brushing it onto my layout. And I don't love the way it looks at first, but what I decide to do is then just turn the packaging over and smush it on, and I like that better. It's a little bit of a mess. I wish I would have left it a little bit more white, and I ended up adding a lot of color here, but you know what? It looks okay in the end, and I'm still happy with the end result. But next time I think I would just try doing it a little less, but live and learn, that's okay. So I'm just going to trim down my photos here. I printed them on 4x6 photo paper, and I'm going to leave a little white edge around them. And these are two photos from Easter of my daughter that I wanted to scrapbook anyways, and they work perfectly because they have that bright pink in them, and that's going to match this layout a little bit better anyway. So I'm going to go ahead with those two photos, and now I'm going to go ahead and this is where I'm going to try to fix a little bit of this bright color. So I'm just painting some white onto my background. I'm mixing a little water in with it here and there. This is just white acrylic paint. And I'm just covering up some of the brightness of that. And I think I could have actually done a little bit more, but I just decided to do a little bit there and see how it looks. And it looks okay. I kind of wish I would have added more white, but that's all right. So I'm just impatient, so I'm using my heat tool to dry that up. And now I'm going to add some bright pink splatters because I want it to match a little bit with my daughter's outfit. And so I'm just mixing some pink acrylic paint with some water and going to get some splats. Now I wanted some bigger splats, so I'm going to grab a bigger paintbrush and just kind of let that pool up and flick that on. So I went a little overboard with these as well, but again, it looks okay in the end. I'm happy with the results. So I really like the way that these colors play together. This kind of like purpley pink, the bright pink, and the light coral pink. I think it's a really pretty combination. So just heating that, drying that up with my heat tool there. And this is going to warp my layout just a little bit. I'll end up mounting it on something at the end. So now I'm going to put my photos down, and I want to place something behind my photos. And so I thought vellum would be a nice soft touch. And I found this polka dot vellum that's just, it's got gold foiled polka dots on it. I'm going to put that behind my photos, and I just really like the way that looks. I folded it just a little bit to give it some more texture and dimension. And I'm thinking about layering it up with some plain vellum as well, but I decide instead to use this specialty paper. It's kind of like a homemade paper. It's like really fibrous, and it's coral. I just got that at Joann, I think, or maybe Michael's in the specialty paper aisle, and it's so pretty, and it's gonna bring out the coral in my flowers that got covered up a little bit by my paint. So I'm going to layer that behind the vellum, and I'm just tearing the vellum a little bit to give some more texture to some of the edges of it. And then I also use my most used punch, which is my notebook edge punch, and I'm going to punch out a few spots on the vellum. And then I tried to do it on that specialty paper, but because it's so fibrous, it did not punch through, and it kind of clogged up my punch. So don't try to punch papers like that. So I've got that placed down, and for my adhesive, I'm mostly using some like double-sided sticky tape. It holds really well, and I find that with different kinds of papers and mediums like this, that will hold well on most things. So now I'm going to start arranging my butterflies, and I decide to flip my photos because I want to overlap my butterflies a little bit onto the photo, and the photo of my daughter that's a little closer up didn't have any room for me to overlap. So I just switched them. And now I am layering up my vellum butterflies on top of some of the regular butterflies. And I'm just using my Tim Holtz tiny attacher to put a staple in the middle of the butterflies to hold the two layers together. You can see I'm just fluffing those layers up a little bit so that you get to see both the vellum and the cardstock underneath. And I'm just doing it to a few of the butterflies, not all of them. So I'm just adhering my photo layers, and now I'm going to start putting my butterflies down. And I decide to use these Zotz 3D dots. They are just like a thick glue dot that gives you a little bit of dimension. And so those worked really well to hold these down, and they were very sturdy. So I definitely recommend that if you want to glue down some things with some dimension that on a surface that needs a little bit extra adhesive. So I'm just kind of placing these in here. Now, originally I had planned on using the blue butterflies as well, but I decided to stick to kind of the ones that are the pinks and green tones and the purpley ones for this layout. And I'm just arranging them so they don't look too contrived. Placed one a little off to the right and one a little bit towards the top, and I like the way that ends up looking. I'm going to use the word amazing for my title, and I decide to use these gold stickers from Maggie Holmes to write the word beauty, and I'm just going to bring gold into this layout because I used it in that gold polka dotted vellum. And I love the way that a nice like scripted or hand done font looks with a more kind of cleaner classic kind of font like I have with beauty. So I'm going to pop up all of these letter stickers on some foam squares just so that they rest at the same height as my photos, and I skipped ahead on that part so you didn't have to watch me do all of that. And now I'm just going to stick down the word amazing, which is one of the printables from Wilna, and the G tucks in nicely right between the butterfly and the end of the word beauty, which I love. So I'm going to write my daughter's name down at the bottom of the photo and her age, so I'm just writing Malia, age 10. And I just wanted to bring a little bit more black into the layout, and I just like the mixture of, again, this kind of clean look with all of the artsy looking stuff. So after I've got that down, I'm going to add in some little word strips. These are like my favorite thing ever. They are older, from Studio Calico, and they've got a perforated edge to them, and you just tear them off. And I'm going to place about 6 of these on the layout here. So I'm going to put 3 down here at the bottom, and then I'll put 3 up next to the title as well. And they're just super, super cute. Love these little label or phrase rip apart sheets. I don't know why, but there's just something so satisfying about ripping those apart, and they're just really cute. It gives just a subtle texture to them. So I'm just picking the phrases that best fit with what my journaling will be, and I'm just going to talk about how this is a page more of like advice or reaffirmation to my daughter, letting her know that she is awesome and she's growing into a wonderful young lady, and we're so proud of her, that kind of thing. Before I get to my journaling, I'm going to look through a few of my embellishments and just see if there's anything that I might want to add. I kind of felt like there was something missing from this, even though it looks very busy as it is. But I pulled out these I pulled out these Heidi Swap little puffy stickers, and they matched some of the colors that were in this layout. And so I pulled 2 off that the phrase on them also matched. So I did cherish and favorite. And now I'm looking through some pink paisley memorandum. They're clear stickers, and I thought maybe some of the gold ones would work here, but I'm not going to end up using any of those either. I did find from the Love Notes collection Hello Love collection from Crate Paper, there was this little love heart, and it matches the shininess of the word beauty that I have in the title, and so it worked perfectly. So I just decided to add that down at the bottom. And now I'm writing my journaling. I just freehand wrote some lines and just wrote my journaling there. And now I'm going to trim down my layout to put it on the background. And you're going to see me struggle here for a minute to decide whether I want to place it in the center or off to the side. And also, once I flipped it over, I saw that polka dot and I was like, oh no, I have to use the black polka dot. It looks so good. But my original intention was to use that striped side, and I love the striped side. So I was having an inner struggle, but I did end up going with the polka dot. And I'm going to just punch some notebook edge. I'm going to use my notebook edge punch to just randomly punch a few pieces on the white cardstock, and then I'm going to glue it down to the polka dots. And that's going to really finish this layout off. I'm using a ton of that double-sided tape because my paper warped quite a bit, and so I'm just going a little overboard. Here's where I'm doing that notebook punching, and my punch was a little stuck from when I tried to punch that specialty paper earlier, so like I said, don't recommend doing that. I did fix it now, but that was kind of a pain. So I'm just going to go ahead and now peel up all of the strips of this adhesive and glue that down to my background. And it's a little uneven, so I end up trimming the edges, and that is going to finish everything off. I'm going to come back and talk to you real time here for just a second. So here's the final layout. I did fully intend on using the other side of this pattern paper, but when I flipped it over and saw the black polka dots, it really pulled out the black in the title, and I just needed that. So I had to go with this side, even though I was resisting it because I didn't want to copy Wilna too much. I know she loves her black and white stripes and polka dots for her background layers, but can't help being influenced by the amazing projects that she creates. So I hope that you can see how easy it is to incorporate Wilna's products with other things that you have in your stash, but also how you don't really need much because they are embellishments on their own, and you can create your own fun backgrounds to go with them, or you know, use the products that you have in your stash. So super love these butterflies, and I will definitely be creating something with the florals soon. I hope that you've enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.